Assalamualaikum and hi guys, my name is Muhammad Amir Rahman bin Muhammad Razak and my student ID is 2022923303. And today, my group will be discussing about particulate matter. So what is particulate matter? Particulate matter, or well known as PM, is a term for particles found in the air, including dust, dirt, soot, smoke and liquid droplets. Particles can be suspended in the air for long periods of time. Some particles are large or dark enough to be seen as soot or smoke. Others are so small that individually they can only be detected with an electron microscope. Particulate matter, also known as particle pollution or PM, is a term that describes extremely small solid particles and liquid droplets suspended in the air. Particulate matter can be made up of a variety of components including nitrates, sulfate, organic chemicals, metal, soil, and dust particles. Particles pollution mainly come from motor vehicles, wood-burning heaters, and industry. During bushfires or dust storms, particle pollution can reach extremely high concentrations. Some particles are directly emitted into the air. They come from a variety of sources such as cars, trucks, buses, factories, construction sites, steel fields, unpacked roads, stone crushing, and burning of wood. Other particles may be formed in the air from the chemical charge of gases. They are indirectly formed when gases from burning fuels react with sunlight and water vapor. This can result from fuel combustion in motor vehicles. Next, let's move on to the types of particulate matter. There are two types of particulate matter. The first one is primary particulate matter and the second one is secondary particulate matter. For primary particulate matters, it is directly emitted into the air as solid or liquid particles. As for secondary particulate matter, it is formed by chemical reaction of gases in the atmosphere. Next, we're going to compare the size of PM10 and PM2.5. For PM10s, particles with a diameter of 10 micrometers or less, these particles are small enough to pass through the throat and nose and enter the lungs. Once inhaled, these particles can affect the heart and lungs and cause serious health effects. As for PM2.5, which is particles with a diameter of 2.5 micrometers or less, these particles are so small they can get deep into the lungs and into the bloodstreams. This is sufficient evidence that exposure to PM2.5 over long periods or years can cause adverse health effects. Can you guys imagine how small is 2.5 micrometers? Think about a single hair from your head. The average human hair is about 70 micrometers in diameter, making it 30 times larger than the largest fine particles.
Now I'm going to present the source of the air particulate matter pollutants. There are two types of particulate matter, which is primary and secondary. The primary pollutants are divided by two types: fine particulate matters or PM2.5 and coarse particulate matters or PM10, which differs through sizes as you can see on the slide. The sources of these pollutants were agricultural operations for the severe uses of pesticides and herbicides. Next is industrial processes that constantly releases thick smokes from the factories and smokestacks. Thirdly, the fossil fuel combustion such as cars and trucks were releasing carbon monoxides on the daily. And finally, we have construction activities that also releases a lot of smokes and dusts that are very harmful to the environment. So for the second type is the secondary particulate matters, which were formed in the atmosphere by chemical processes that involve primary emissions like I have stated before. These particulate matters will build up and mix in the atmosphere. Through radiation and climatic factors, they will form secondary particulate matters that have more severe impact, especially for the human health. Examples of those harmful substances were ammonia, volatile organic matters, and sulfur dioxide. So those are the two types of air particulate matter pollutants.
For my part, I would like to discuss about the effect of the air particulate matter pollution. As we know, the size of the particle is directly linked to their potential for causing health problems and environmental effect. For the environmental effect, it is the cause the visibility impairment, where the fine particle, which is PM2.5, are the main cause of the reduced visibility, such as a haze in the part of any country, including many of our treasured national park and wilderness area. Next, environmental damage. This particle can be carried over a long distance by wind and then settle on ground or water. It is depending on their chemical composition that have been exposed. There are a few effects settling may include, such as making lake and stream acidic, depleting the nutrients in soil, damaging sensitive forests and farm crops, and other effects disturb the diversity of ecosystem. It also affects the aesthetic, such as a material damage. The particulate matter can stain and damage stone and other material, including culturally important objects such as statue and monuments. Such as example that can we see as a Lady Liberty, that change of the actual color that is also related to acid rain effects on the material as well. For the health effect related to the potential for causing health problems, the small particle less than 10 micrometer in diameter pose the greater problems because they can get deep into our lung and some may even get into our bloodstream. Exposure to this particle can affect both our lung and heart. For the numerous scientific studies have linked particle pollution exposure to a variety of problems such as decreased lung function, cardiac arrhythmias, chronic bronchitis, and heart attack. It is dangerous for the group of sensitive to particulate matter such as people with the lung and heart disease, older adults, children, and pregnant women. They also have a few ways as the prevention of the particulate matter pollutants. Firstly, we can wear masks to reduce the exposure by small particulate from directly enter our body when breathing. Secondly, avoid high pollution areas such as main road and a busy street where possible. And lastly, use air purifier. It is some of a good way because air purifier contain filter and fans that filter trapped pollutants such as dust, pollen, and bacteria and disperse clean air back into the area. Now we know the pollution is a big problem. By knowing all this important information about primary and secondary air particulate matter pollutant, we should strictly follow all the possible measures to control the environmental pollutions. So that's all for our group. Thank you.